W5, Sunday, March 1st.
I believe along about that time, Satan took total control of it, and the music itself, and then you couple the words to it, which oftentimes are tremendously debilitating, and you've got a combination that has been instrumental in the drug culture, illicit sex, perversion, homosexuality, etc.
He's not really into what we're doing.
Amy Grant is the first Christian performer to have hit songs on the top 40 charts. Her pop sound has made her one of the top concert draws in North America. One out of every 5 contemporary Christian records sold is by Amy Grant. Grant thinks Jimmy Swaggart is just out of touch with young people.
I mean, he gets up there and does his thing, and, you know, and it's very unfamiliar to me. I kind of listen to his music and go, this is really different. You know, it's just the voice of his generation as my music is the voice of mine.
Amy Grant is about as in bad a shape as any human being could ever be respecting the work of the Lord. I think she's an excellent singer, tremendous vocalist, great charisma, personality. As far as her singing ability, no better. But as far as the work of God is concerned, it's an abomination.
Swaggart isn't the only Christian who's critical of Amy Grant. Some of her concert goers say they love her music, but are disappointed her lyrics aren't more religious. She's accused of selling out to the secular world for the sake of higher record sales.
How are you going to get a message that she's a Christian and what Christ really does for you when she doesn't display that? She doesn't really bring it out in full force.
She's bringing people to Christ, and I mean, that's the main thing. Not that she should compromise her style, but that people are being won.
Even though a lot of Christians are saying that her music hasn't got enough spiritual or gospel content in it anymore, it's still really positive, upbeat music, and you don't have to go and worry about what you're going to hear as Christians.
Grant writes most of her own songs and thinks it's unrealistic to expect all of them to have religious lyrics.
It's such a tight stricture to tell a painter, you must always paint a religious scene. You must always paint a crucifixion. You must always paint, you know, something spiritual. Because if we really are being remade from the inside out because of our belief in God, we're going to have a perspective on everything that would be worthwhile.
Amy Grant may be understated about her religious convictions. The heavy metal Christian rock group Stryper is blatant about theirs.
Stryper rocks for Jesus Christ!
They even distribute Bibles to their audience. More than any other group, Stryper has been accused of using Christianity as a gimmick to get them more attention in a heavily competitive rock market. Long hair, wild costumes, and makeup are simply standard fare, both on stage and off. Robert Sweet is Stryper's drummer.
We're not really what you would call a heavy metal band. You know, the heaviness is there and the loudness is there, but that's rock and roll. And the louder you turn it up, the more people that can hear it. And it's a message that's not worth hiding. So we're to make a loud and joyful noise unto the Lord, and that's why we turn it up loud. We're not trying to look evil or non-Christian or anything. We're just being ourselves. We're having the courage to stand up and say, look, you don't have to give up your personality. Give up sin.
Christian rock groups say there's nothing sinful about being successful and selling lots of records. So they need to make rock videos to promote themselves just like any rock group. Stryper and their record company discuss which song they should choose for their new video.
I don't want to be labeled just a heavy metal band. That song will break that, I think.
Okay, but we have to show them to be great rock and rollers, otherwise for things like MTV and stuff like that. We have to show that this band has a right or a place, and people will understand what Stryper's about.
Ever go to a Stryper concert or a Christian rock concert?
No, and I wouldn't. I would not.
Why not? Would you be afraid of going?
No, I'm not afraid of going.
I mean, would you be nervous? Would you be concerned? Would you feel out of place?
I would be grieved in my spirit. I have seen the what do you call these music videos? I've seen the videos, and I've seen some of the shows over television, and it grieves my spirit. It hurts me when I see this going on.
And I'm not meaning to put Mr. Swaggart down because I respect him, and that's how I came to the Lord, is through his ministry. But for so long he said that rock and roll cannot be used by God. There's a lot of kids out there that aren't going to turn on the television and watch the television evangelists. They're not going to open their Bible or go to church, but they're going to sure run down and buy their ticket to go to the concert coming to town. And those are the kids I find that Stryper is able to reach with the message of God.
There are hundreds of Christian rock bands spreading the good word across North America. Some of them, like Canada's Elam Hall, even take their message into local bars. Ross Teeple is Elam Hall's lead singer.
We write about what we think is really important, and certainly I think the thing that separates us from a normal band is that we aren't afraid to speak about our relationship with God, and that's important to us, and I think it's also important for people to hear that.
Although they've only been performing for 2 years, Elam Hall has already recorded an album, backed by Amy Grant's management team. This song, Hypothermia, is about the warmth of God's love compared to the coldness of man.
Love is something more than more I know about you. Love is something more. How can I live without you? I've got hypothermia.
Many Christian rock groups would not perform in a bar where liquor is served, but Elam Hall is trying to tread the fine line between being true to their religion and appealing to a secular audience.
Do you think that being labeled as a Christian rock group is a drawback?
I think it is to us. I mean, we certainly don't deny the fact that we're Christians, but we'd rather see our music being, sold in regular record stores, which is a real drawback when you're in the Christian rock category.
The marketing of rock music is not Jimmy Swaggart's idea of a Christian priority.
Well, my advice to these people is to seek, first of all, to please Jesus Christ, and to get their eyes off of money, to get their eyes off of stardom, because the Christian rock scene has its stars the same as the modern rock scene has its stars.
But with all due respect,
that's
Reverend
anathema. That's wrong.
Doesn't the preaching business also have its stars, and aren't you one of them?
Not in the sense that we're talking about, that it preens the flesh. If I am, God have mercy upon my soul. That's all I can say.
Jimmy Swaggart's kind of Christian music doesn't always sound that different from the modern rock he's so opposed to. But whatever its musical origin, what makes Christian music Christian is its lyrics. As record sales continue to rise, it's clear that this marriage of religious words with secular sounds is a musical force to be reckoned with.